If you guys don't have a routine, I would recommend, you get one going.
And I know that it can be very, very frustrating to try and become disciplined.
You cannot win the war against the world if you can't win the war against your own mind.
Habits are not a finish line to be crossed, they're a lifestyle to be lived.
Yeah.
And so you need to be looking for these lifestyle changes, something you can sustain.
Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men.
If you read one book a month for the next 10 years, you will have read 120 books. If you do on average 20 push-ups a day for the next year, you will have done around 7,000 push-ups. And if you invest $200 every month in the stock market with an average interest rate of 7% per year, which is pretty doable, after 40 years you will be close to $500,000. But why are so few people actually doing all that? I mean, it's not a secret. Habits are proven to be a key to success and well-being. The answer is simple. Most people heavily rely on their self-discipline to build habits. And self-discipline is the ability to do what you know you should do, even though you don't really feel like doing it. And that's a losing game, because self-discipline is a limited resource, and if you don't set up the right strategy, you will face a lot of situations throughout the day when you know you have to do something anyway, but you don't really feel like doing it. And that can be a tough pill to swallow. After 30 days, 68% of people already dropped their new habit. But only if you keep up your habit on the long run, you will be able to harvest those immense compound effects. Habits are a marathon, not a sprint. Somebody might say, why building all those habits? We're humans, not machines, and we're not productivity slaves. Well, if you're not capable to change your habits, you are already a slave. A slave of your lower needs. A slave of you wanting to eat sugar, being lazy, avoiding difficult conversations. Building powerful habits actually frees you from being that slave. I want to give you a quick background. My name is Marco Sander, I'm a psychologist, and the last 2 years I coached more than 200 people specifically on changing and building habits. And in this documentary, I don't just want to share random insights about habits, I want to share the top 3 insights that got the most breakthroughs the last 2 years with the people that I worked together. I was once sitting in a lecture about bad habits, and during the break I went up to the professor and I said, hey, hands on, you gave a lot of insights, that's cool, but what is the number one tip and the number one trick that is most powerful to change any habit? And she was quite clear. She said, when I talk with my fellow professors, my friends who are doing research in this field, we always come to one conclusion at the end of our discussion. It's about building systems. I want to give you a couple of examples. At 1 p.m., I get tired, and if I just keep working on my laptop on my own, I will slack off on YouTube, and that's a sure thing, and I will just watch unnecessary videos. I know that, so at this time I schedule either a nap, I go for a walk, I schedule coaching calls, or I talk with business partners, because that energizes me talking with others, I'm not getting tired anymore. And I just know that, so I'm always going to make sure that I'm not sitting here on my own doing some stuff that makes me even more tired and slack off. But in turn, the first 1.5 hours in my day when I start working at 8 a.m., I know this is the time when I'm super productive also working on my own, and this is the most difficult thing for me. So the first 1.5 hours, I know that I'm productive on my own, so nobody can even schedule any call with me. I have silence and I can always make sure that I work productive. So adapt your schedule to your energy level. A lot of my clients also work in co-working spaces because they cannot work at home and they know they're gonna slack off, so they surround themselves with other entrepreneurs, other people that are like-minded, and they go into a co-working space. They're much more productive. I, for example, on Tuesday evening at 7 p.m., I always work out with a friend of mine. It's not even a set rule, it's a set law. At 7 p.m. Tuesday, we go to my place or his place, we alternate that, and then we work out together and we have a gym session. And that's a sure thing. And that makes me so much more healthy and fit because I always train at Tuesday and it always comes more easy. I always train harder if I train with a gym buddy and a good friend together. It's more fun and more effective. Also during the weekends, I don't just want to sit alone in front of my laptop again. I will be tired again, I will slack off on YouTube. So in the weekend, for example, I go with friends into nature. And if I am with friends in nature, the last thing that I do is to pull out my phone and check my messages and go on Instagram or YouTube. Like, this is not what I'm doing, because I drag the right people in my life during the right time to ensure that I live a good life and I'm not slacking off and I stay on track and I am still productive. More examples. I don't really have sweets at home. I have, for example, bananas at home, I have cocoa powder at home, and often when I feel like eating something sweet, I cannot eat anything unhealthily sweet because I don't have it and I'm not going to go to the supermarket, walk there and buy that and come home again. So I often then, for example, just make myself a banana shake with pure cocoa powder, which is much more healthy, right? So I set myself up in that regard. Also, I prepare my gym bag the night before. So when it's actually getting tough and I have to get up and I have to go to the gym, everything is already prepared. Or I bought a jumping rope, right? Because now I have one and now I actually do use it if I train here at home. I didn't have it before, I didn't do it, now I have it, now I simply do it. So I built the right systems in that regard, and that simply means to prepare. What is the preparation that you can undertake to make your life smoother? So when you're high on energy, think, what can you schedule, what can you plan, what can you prepare to set yourself up for winning? This is the crucial point here. And then it looks easy. People ask you, how do you manage to build such habits and be so self-disciplined? Well, you're not self-disciplined. You just build the right habits and build the right system around you, which makes it so easy for you to actually execute on the things that you know you have to do or you want to do. And that right here, honestly, this insight, that's a banger. That's the number one game changer if you want to do anything in your life behavioral-wise and change your behavior on the long run, change the freaking systems. And the question is now, what does that mean for you? Input goals. Here it is also about setting up and planning your day. What a lot of people do wrong is that they set, for example, an hour in the morning to finish, for example, their website. And this is a so-called output goal, right? You have 1 hour to finish this output and make it done. The problem is the following. Chances are that you're not gonna be done with this specific project after 60 minutes. There are two likely outcomes. Outcome number one, it's either easier than expected and after 40 minutes, you're done. Well, then it's, for example, 8:40, you still have 20 minutes left, you're ahead of your schedule, and you start to procrastinate. You start to take it easy, relax, because you're still ahead of your schedule, right? It's better than expected. But that doesn't make sense because it's early in the morning. You could be productive and you're already procrastinating and already taking it easier than you actually could. And the second thing is that after this 1 hour, that also often happens, is that you realized, oh, there are additional challenges coming up. I have to figure something out here. I worked now for 1 hour diligently, but I'm not done yet. Damn it. And then you put yourself down. You're not as far as you expected, even though you worked effectively. And this demotivates you actually, and then you procrastinate more throughout the day because you feel less good. And that's also not optimal. So I challenge you to actually shift this focus of the output towards the input. So schedule your day, yes, and also time box your day in a sense, but make sure that within this hour then, your goal is to simply focus. This is your input. You want to work focusedly on a project, for example, finishing the website, and you want to just see how far you can get. This is the input. And this is how I, for example, even wrote an entire book. For a couple of months, I just told myself, hey, from Monday till Friday, from 8 till 9 a.m. in the morning, I'm gonna write on my book. And I don't know whether I finished a chapter today or in 3 days. I have no clue, but I will work diligently on it for 1 hour. And after 8-9 months, I think, I was done with the book. So the question for you, how can you make your habit that you want to build an input goal instead of an output goal? Triggers. A habit is not just something that naturally pops up, it's always something that has a trigger. So let's stick to the example about Instagram and YouTube. So let's say you sit there, scroll your phone, scroll on Instagram, and you use your time not the way you want to. That's a bad habit, and that's what you also perceive as a bad habit. Now, there is a trigger. It's not just something you do automatically. Probably the trigger was that you're tired or bored or you feel lonely. There must be some emotional or external trigger that made you do that. And this trigger then leads to you wasting your time on Instagram, for example. So a negative habit has a trigger. And the same is with a positive habit. For example, meditation. I meditate every day for a couple of years already. And I don't just tell myself, well, at some point throughout the day I meditate, because then I will just forget about it and not do it. I deliberately set myself a trigger, which is waking up in the morning and then I meditate. So after waking up. And this strategy is called piggybacking, that you basically piggyback your new habit, your positive habit, on an already established one. So you could say, hey, I brush my teeth every night. So after brushing my teeth, I'll do a journaling session with myself. Or after lunch in the afternoon, I sit down and write down 3 things I'm grateful for. Or after coming home from work, I do sports and I go for a run. So the question to you, what is your trigger to build your habit? Alright, I could talk so much more about habits, but again, those are the 3 most powerful tips that give you the most results based on my experience and the 200 people that I coached so far. If you want to get deeper and if you want to get coaching, a one-on-one coaching with me, there is a link in the description below. You can just sign up for a call. We can have a free personal conversation. Just check how working together would look like. Does that actually make sense? And also, I want you to remember, habits are like politics. You don't need to have all the votes. You just need the majority. The next year, if you do the thing you want to do just 300 times, and you slack off 65 times, that's fine. You're doing so much better than last year. Relax. Habits are here to support you, not to suppress you. That's very important. And also I want to ask you, that's a serious question, don't skip this one. What is now the thing that you take away? And don't tell me, well, I want to set more input goals. No, what is it? Monday, Wednesday, Friday, after waking up, I want to do an hour of running. What is it for you? Take 1 minute to reflect before you hop on the next video. Please do yourself this favor. And otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.
And as long as I do everything I can to do my best, then I feel pretty darn good about the effort.